All right, hello. I'm heading out of the Walter Reed Theater on my last day of the New York Film Festival Press and Industry Weeks. The film festival started underway officially Friday night, but I am taking off. I've just finished my last film. I love these posters. By the way, I want to check off my bucket list at some point, designing a poster for something shown here, because they have these extra tall vertical posters that are just great. I particularly love that one. So yeah, this is where we watched everything here at the Walter Reed. Been coming here, like I said, since college, so it was really cool to have this experience and to end it the way it just ended with Joachim Trier's Sentimental Value. Sentimental Value, man, I knew it would be great. It's been one of the more hyped releases for the fall since Cannes. It was so good. I hardly can put words together just because I'm so emotionally moved by it. It's probably, I don't know. I don't know how to quantify it right now. Could be my film of the year. It's just such a beautiful family drama. You don't get a lot of films made in that zone, in that threshold, where it's just about real stuff between sisters and daughters and fathers and sons and all that. And in Norway, how can you not love just going to Norway for a couple hours and hanging out with these people, not hanging out, but kind of just being led into their intimacies and their struggles. It's so beautiful. There's a central question that looms over the whole film, and the way Trier just keeps holding that question for the entire film and just making you want the answer, and a specific answer, so bad. And then when he answers it, it's just such a payoff. I was very moved by that, and I thought it was brilliant. Just great. So it was an incredible end to my New York Film Festival. It's Tuesday. Yesterday, I had to miss Deliver Me From Nowhere, the Springsteen film. I had to do some work yesterday. Had to miss that. But Friday, it's been a while since I made a video checking in, because things just got busy. Thursday and Friday, Jason and I had different schedules. He says hello and goodbye. We may do some kind of recap together when I'm home. You can see his writings on the festival, I'm sure, in the near future at NashvilleScene.com. I'm sure he'll be writing some kind of report there, but we may do another report here on Nashville Screen for you all. And on Thursday and Friday, just to give you a recap of what I saw on those days, there were big days. Thursday started with Linklater's Blue Moon with Ethan Hawke. I think I just had seen it in my last dispatch, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. It's kind of like a play where it's all set in one location, about a historical, famous lyricist of Blue Moon. And Hawke plays the role. I love Hawke so much, and I love Ethan. I love everything he does, that it's like I see him in every role. It's hard for him to disappear, but by the end of the film, he kind of does. You know, he has a lot of Hawke mannerisms that you kind of track throughout the performance, but in the end, it was a moving little study, little piece, character piece between him and Margaret Qualley. Someone remind me. They're working on the fountain right now. I wanted to see the fountain on my last day, but we were walking off to the plaza. I'm going to go to Madison Square Garden to get some Knicks merch before I head out of town. Yeah, him and Margaret were great. I like anything Linklater does. His projects are always interesting. He had both films, this and Nouvelle Vague in the Fest. Nouvelle Vague's among my favorites of the Fest. We went from that to Sound of Falling. I was very hyped on this one. Ever since Cannes, it had a lot of buzz, the kind of which I know I'm going to respond to. It just looks like a film up my alley, the style and all that, and it really was. It's a difficult and dark film for sure. I'm still kind of grappling with it and thinking about it. I want to see it again to better understand, quote unquote, what happens. But it's really not a literal narrative as much as it is an emotional one. And it's about different women and families and girls who have lived in this property over this period of time. It's set in multiple periods, and it kind of jumbles through all of them almost in shuffle mode chronologically in a way that I can't really understand the meaning behind exactly yet. I did love it. I think it was really strong. And just looking back at any shots from the film when I see them posted or other people post shots, I'm just like, oh yeah, that was an incredible scene, incredible moment. But it's long and it's dark and it doesn't have a lot of release or levity. I think I understand it intuitively. This is kind of a theme that I've talked about before without being able to like explain it all to you. But it's heavy and it's beautifully done. 1:3:3 favorite aspect ratio coming through. So I loved it. It's in my top 10 right now. And then we had House of Dynamite, Catherine Bigelow's film. This is the kind of real-time, edge of your seat chronicle of a very realistic scenario of nuclear disaster, impending nuclear doom in the United States as a missile gets fired at the states, and you have about 20 minutes to decide what to do. And it's all the different departments in the state kind of shown in 3 different acts from 3 different perspectives. So once you kind of watch the first part of it play out, you know kind of what's going to happen. The other 2, you lose some suspense. That first act is the most suspenseful. That's the one with not Jessica Chastain, as I incorrectly said in my last video when I was thinking about Zero Dark 30 still, but Rebecca Ferguson, and everyone loves her. She was great in it. Idris Elba's the president, and it's good. It feels like an episode of 24 or something like that, maybe a little more grounded in our current reality than 24 would be. But in the end, it did not feel elevated beyond like a great episode of television about a scenario like this. And there were a few goofy lines throughout. You know when people just act like people act in movies and they don't quite act like they would in real life? There was a little bit of a gap between this film and what the reference I always use is like Paul Greengrass. Sorry. Paul Greengrass would do. His films are so realistic when it comes to these kind of tense real world scenarios. And, I just don't think Bigelow's able to get that kind of verisimilitude going as well as other directors could. I don't want to knock her for it. I still think it's a great project that she embarked on and put forth. It just has some moments that are goofy to me. Like, there were a couple lines that had laughter and groans on them from the audience. And when it cut to black, there was full out laughter in the theater. I've never quite seen that happen or experienced that happening, but it did indeed happen. And I don't think it's because of the ending per se. I think it was just the culmination of kind of a series of kind of like movie-ish moments that kind of just took away some of the reality that you want in this kind of a film. But it still has a lot of that. It definitely makes you stressed about the current state of things. So that's what you're looking for in a movie. It's going to be there for you. And then Friday were 2 big ones as well. The premiere of After the Hunt in the States, US Western premiere, and Anemone, the world premiere. So this is one where it was opening night of the fest, so the talent was there. It used to be this way at the film festival for every press screening. Their directors and stars would be there talking afterwards back in my day. But now it's pretty rare for that to happen. They do it basically only once the real festival has started, and all the directors and actors are actually there for the public screenings where they come out and talk afterwards. So it was opening night of the fest, and Luca Guadagnino, Julia Roberts, Andrew Garfield, and Io were all there, as was Daniel Day-Lewis and Sean Bean for Anemone. It was amazing to see Daniel Day-Lewis at our screening talking to us. It was, he's one of the kings, if not the king, and it was just awesome to see him Also, you know, can't help but be starstruck when Julia Roberts is there right in front of you. So it was cool. And as for the film After the Hunt, it got bad reviews a while back when it premiered. You know, movie all about a cancel culture type situation. I'm kind of intrigued by what Luca will do with this going in, and I have to say I liked it better than a lot of the reviews. Maybe your reaction to a film like this depends on your personal politics, you know, and what your feelings are about some of these things. So maybe that's why I found it interesting and kind of good. A lot of people think it's not tight enough a screenplay. I guess it leaves a lot of questions. It presents its characters all as very, very flawed, very messy, ugly people. And I just always think about how we're always asking for more of that, and especially with actresses, you know, like of Julia Roberts' age. You know, she's maybe, you know, society might say she is past her youth or her youthful prime. And what we always ask for is for middle-aged actresses to have more great roles for them. And we do have that now. I think that the last 10 years, every year, Best Actress is just overloaded with incredibly, you know, complex and, you know, flawed, not simplistic roles for women in film. It's always better than the Best Actor. Best Actress is always stacked with better roles these days. And so Julia was great. It's a very, again, this is what we want, right? We want more characters that are flawed, that are not likable, that are not, I mean, you want to relate to something they're going through. And I guess that's a problem maybe some people have with this movie. They kind of didn't like anyone in it, and you kind of need someone you relate to other than Julia Roberts' husband, who is incredible in the film, Michael Stuhlbarg. He kind of steals a couple scenes, and he's kind of the audience surrogate, I guess, in a way. But yeah, I didn't think it was great. It's like I don't even know if it's in my top 10 here as we come toward the end of the year, but it was better than I thought it would be based on the reactions. And I think that, you know, I don't like groupthink. And not that if you don't like it, you are part of a groupthink mentality. I don't love when all I hear from everyone is this movie sucks. And that almost makes me more curious to find something in it that the director is going for that I can try to identify and kind of, you know, appreciate. And having Luca there in person was helpful to me. I loved seeing Luca. I loved hearing him talk about the film. It just makes you like it more. I don't know. Maybe others would say it makes it more of a shame. But yeah, I just thought, you know, okay, everyone's hating on this film. Not only do I not think it's that bad, but because of that, I almost want to defend it a little bit more. So that's where I'm at with that one. You know, it's hard to make a film or a script about this cancel culture type stuff, and the generational gaps and the wokeness and this. You're not going to please everyone. In fact, you're going to probably only encourage others to have all of their takes on the film. I think time will be kind to the film. I don't think you can just have one cancel culture film in Tar, which is a masterpiece for sure. Tar was maybe my favorite film of that year. You can have more than one film about that issue. Tar is a better piece of art, of course, to me, but I think time will be kind to this one as a time capsule on the kind of real messy period that we're going through culturally. Of course, it's all set in high-end, you know, the high life of academia. So it's really, in a way, about kind of first world problems as well. But yeah, it was interesting. And then Anemone was after that. These two big premieres, and you know, from the trailer, I knew this was going to be very stylized and visually kind of over the top. And I was a little worried about that. I thought, like, you know, I was hoping for like a two-hander character piece between Day-Lewis and Sean Bean. And it was that. There were great scenes, but they are peppered between a lot of visual style that I think kind of distracts for some people. A lot of people thought that it doesn't all come together. and the dialogue scenes between them are kind of too few and far between. But it is, to me, when you get into the meat of what the characters are going through, particularly Daniel Day-Lewis, it's very powerful. I was very moved by it. I thought Day-Lewis was ferocious. I thought Sean Bean was incredibly strong as a supporting actor who really listens for most of the time. It's definitely that kind of a supporting role where the other person's doing all the obvious heavy lifting, but Bean is there to support, and I think he's great. And it was great seeing both of them talk about making the film together. Bean was very humble just for the whole experience, humbled by the experience to work with Daniel Day-Lewis, and I thought it was brave. It was very much about the trauma of that certain men go through, especially men at war, veterans, and men who have endured traumas of their own, and isolating them from society. I don't know, if you've known anyone in your life who has gone through things like that, I think it's going to hit you very heavy. I thought it was very strong and brave performance and film. So I really liked it. Yeah. And then we leave today with sentimental value. I've already talked about it. It was a great ending to the fest. I'm going to get out of here and say thank you so much for checking out the dispatches from New York Film Festival. This is Sam. The channel is National Screen. And this will be my forum to do film stuff if and when I want to. Possibly weekly Nashville film updates is the goal, but I don't know. We'll see what happens with it. And I'm heading back out into the streets of New York. So thank you. I'm very grateful to have gotten to do this. Thanks to the New York Film Festival and everyone at Lincoln Center and all the great people I've met. It was awesome to meet so many of you, make new friends, and see some old ones. So until next time, take care.